liberty, and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor D'Amato.
Here.
Councilman Catalano.
Here.
Graziano.
Here.
Hudson. Here. Schubert. Here. Yazdi.
Here. Okay, we also have our municipal clerk, Brianna Smith, business administrator, Michael Sondermeyer, and our borough attorney, Dawn Sullivan. This meeting is called to pursuant other provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. Adequate notice of this meeting was advertised in the Herald News on January 12, 2022. Copies were provided to the local news media and posted continuously in the municipal building. A copy of this notice is available to the public and on file in the office of the municipal clerk. As per state fire code, I am required to acknowledge that there are two emergency exits in this council chambers. The main entrance which you enter through, and a secondary exit to the left of where I am seated. If there is an emergency, walk orderly to the exits, exit through the door, down the stairs, and out the building. If there's any questions, please raise your hand. Seeing no one, we do have one presentation tonight, so I'm going to ask Councilman Graziano to join me in front.
So maybe before turning over to Mayor's motto, I'll just say a few words. The Mayor will provide a formal recognition for somebody in the crowd today. But I thought a little color as to what this is all about and how big of a deal it really is. So the Major League Soccer team, the New York Red Bulls, has a regional development school. It's part of a program that Rain Visa is part of. As part of that, they select the top players within that program to be part of the Winter Showcase. This is a big deal because you get to be part of a very exclusive tournament. There's over 6,000 players that want to be part of this, but they only select 8. And one of those 8 is Bloomingdale's own Rain Visa. So fantastic achievement. Ray was asked to go to a red match, right? And he actually went out onto the field where he was recognized for this. He got to walk out with the players. Rain's also a student at the SRD school, I believe, right? And he's also part of the B&B United Soccer Club. So before I turn it over to the mayor, I'd just like to say that congratulations, that your town is very proud of you, and that we look forward to following what I'm sure is going to be a very exciting career.
Awesome.
Actually, this is the fun part about being the mayor, when we recognize, especially your youth. And again, we congratulate you on your achievement. So why don't you come on up here? First of all, we give you a pin to the front. Wear that. Right. In recognition of Rain Visa, member of the 2014 RDS Winter Showcase team, the governing body of the Borough of Bloomingdale has hereby formally recognized you for your outstanding accomplishment. This supplementary team is compilation of only the very top talents in the RDS. The mayor and council congratulates you on having been selected as one of the only 8 players out of 6,000 participants, and we wish you success in your upcoming tournaments. Presented to you 16th day of August 2022 by the mayor, myself, John DeMello, and the Borough Council. Okay, congratulations.
That's awesome.
I really don't want to be in these pictures.
Come over here so we can see all of them. Come on over here. Come over here so we can see your medal.
He's such a little guy. He's
That's awesome. He's gotta be good.
I know.
1 out of 6,000.
I know. They're tiny
That's
people.
pretty good. I know. It's tiny.
He's adorable.
That's awesome.
Certificate is as big as. I know. It's so cute. Awesome, I'm gonna send it to you. Because you got all the information, right?
Okay, we don't have any non-agenda items this evening, and I'd like to need a motion to open up for early public comment reserved for agenda items.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak on an agenda item, please come on up.
I'm 86 Van Dam. I want to find out how come the details for the bills list is no longer online.
You know that?
What was the question?
For the bills list, all you have is the summary. The list itself of all the items are not there anymore.
I thought I uploaded it. I'll have to. I thought it was up there. Should have emailed me. I couldn't find it.
I think I actually looked at a couple of different agendas and it wasn't up there. So I wasn't sure if we just stopped doing it.
Is that the same one that we get?
No, it's on the borough webpage. I just would have to look. I have a hard copy if you want the hard copy.
If you could just email it to me. Can you email it to me? Sure. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Seeing no one, motion to close?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, report of committees. Evie?
The senior, Bloomingdale seniors are having a garage sale, rummage sale, Saturday, October 1st. I sent you the flyer. Donations and any kind of materials, you know, they're specific on what you could bring. Donations must be clean, sellable, good condition, no garbage, and can sell large items like furniture, sofa, dressers. And the sale is going to be inside the Bloomingdale Senior Center, and it's going to be the collection starts Wednesday, September 28th, between 9 and 11. Wednesday, Thursday, the 29th and 30th. And the sale is Saturday, October 1st from 9 to 3. Rain or shine, inside.
Okay. Very good. Anyone else?
Yeah, one, Sloan Park Fest. It's coming up September 9th. Can't believe it's already here. So this is going to start at 5 o'clock, wraps up somewhere around 8 to 8:30. The band is going to be the Coots, and you should expect a lot of the same vendors, some potential newer ones, same kind of food. I had a great turnout in June, and I'm expecting the same for September. So just a reminder for that. Make sure that's on your calendars.
Did we secure the stage yet? We did. Okay, good. Okay. That's it, John?
Yes.
Anyone else?
Public events. I'm just going to give an overview of September, just that will be, which I'll be posting the month in review at the end of this month. September 5th, borough offices are closed, no DPW pickup. Council meeting, September 6th, Lone Park Festival, September 9th. The 9/11 Candlelight Memorial Walk is September 11th. It is starting in Butler this year, and we are marching to Bloomingdale. Council meeting September 20th, and then Pride Day and Bob Kochka 5K, September 24th, with a rain date of September 25th. And I believe you can still sign up. You should talk more about that for the 5K.
For the 5K? Yeah, you can sign up. The 5K registration is open. It'll be open till September 20th. And then it's a great event we do every year. We've raised just about $100,000 since Bob's passing, and we're going to continue doing it as long as we have participants. Hopefully, we've never had rain that day.
We'll still run.
It's rain or shine for
That's
the
right.
run. Yeah.
That's right.
So,
I just have one thing, if I can.
sure.
Okay. So as you all know, we hosted the 10U state championships across the street, and as the liaison to Triborough Little League and the president of Triborough Little League, I want to take this opportunity to thank a lot of people for helping us pull off, which was an incredibly successful event. Mayor D'Amato, thank you for all of your help and support. The council, whether you knew it or not, you were very instrumental as well in pulling off, which was an amazing 5 days of competition. Our borough administrator, Mike Sotomayor, for all your help. The Chief of Police, Joe Burrell, he and I met many times leading up to the event to go over safety, crowd control, street closures, all of that, a lot of planning. A special shout out to Officer Ziden, who really put together a safety plan that was executed flawlessly. I mean, everybody was moved back and forth from the fire department. We had the road closed. The spotlights went on at night so people could cross the road at night, and they just knocked it out of the park. The DPW for helping us, harvest some bleachers for the fans. I think for the finals game, we had close to 300 people there, which was great. The fire department, Mike Hudson, for allowing us to use the parking lot. That was super helpful. The senior center, Pat Yancey, for allowing us to use that for the officials meeting leading up to the tournament. And then the Passaic County Sheriff's Department for giving us the security cameras that were stationed on Star Lake Road and on Hamburg Turnpike for traffic control. In all, the feedback from the 4 towns that visited our community, Morristown, which won the whole thing, Livingston, Stafford Township from Toms River, and then Two River Little League, which is Shrewsbury, Little Silver area. I guess that's Monmouth County. All 4 had nothing but great things to say about our community. In fact, some of the coaches from Livingston had said, Bloomingdale, we've never heard of Bloomingdale. And I said, come north to 280, we're not too far away. So a lot of work went into it. A lot of people had their hands making it a success. The town looked good. The field looked great. We had no rain. And my guess is Triborough Little League will be tapped on the shoulder again to hold high-level youth tournaments.
Great.
So, thank you.
I got to tell you, though, the championship game for 10-year-olds, it was amazing how those kids played.
Yeah.
In extra innings, you couldn't ask for a better game. Crowds into it.
Yeah, it was
Heck
impressive.
of a job
Really
by
was.
the kids, both teams. Okay. Anyone else? Mike?
Yeah, so I've got one that I'll follow up. I think one person that got left out is we should all thank you as well as the president, so well done.
Thank you.
Thank
Very
you.
well ordered.
I just wanted to report from the planning board, we held a special meeting, and we have seek to hire a planner to do an evaluation of the project that's going to be taking place on Union Ave. And in doing so, we just wanted to voice one concern to the council regarding the budget for the planning board. We know that this is going to be an expensive evaluation, and we also have a master plan on the budget for this year. So if there becomes availability of funds or any approach that we can take in order to achieve both in the same year, I think it'd be highly valuable to have a new master plan while we're undertaking this large project. So that was the feeling unanimously across the planning board. So.
Okay. Mike?
Yeah, a couple of things. We had a water break on Vreeland Ave a couple Fridays ago, and we had an emergency issue up at the Natalie sewer pump station as well that we remedied. Update on Reeves and Andrews. They're moving down with the water line down towards the cul-de-sac. Their goal is to have the intersection of Glen, Reeves, and Andrews paved, sidewalks done, curbs before opening day of school. And then as they move down the road, follow behind with the curbs and sidewalks as they follow behind the storm drain and the water line replacement down that road. They're looking to finish by October, beginning of October. They're hoping to be done, talking with the inspector down there on that project. I met tonight with the mayor and Councilman Julin and our rec director. We're looking at the possibility of our lease is up with the rec building this November 1st. So we're looking at a possibility of possibly renting the fire hall from the fire department for the 3 or 4 days, whatever we need. And while we're kicking around the ideas of a permanent home for a rec center at some point. So hopefully it all works out, because I think it'd be a big savings and a good thing for the town to have it there at the firehouse. The other notice I got from the state that there is, to please post and start making aware of conserving water. They have not gone into a drought watch yet, but they're getting close. So I put it on the electronic signs to just start conserving water on our own personal level. I think that residents, again, is not mandated yet, but it's right around the bend, it looks like. And the last thing, I know the Ordinance Review Committee sent a letter to the mayor, and I'll read it to the mayor and council. It has to do with trying to put together a building design review board recommendation. So I'll just read what we put together as the Ordinance Review Committee, and if anybody has any questions, John, you and I, and possibly Bill Graff here as well, the Director of the Ordinance Review Committee, can answer some of the questions you may have. So the Ordinance Review Committee recommends that a Building Design Review Board be established for the Building Center District Zone. That's our center from Riverdale Bridge up to the old municipal building. In our view, the BCD is Bloomingdale's primary defining factor. It is the commercial and economic focal point of the borough. For residents, business owners, visitors, and those simply passing through, the impact of the impression created cannot be overstated and should not be underestimated. We anticipate the Building Design Review Board would be established by ordinance, which would include its membership categories, authority, and responsibility. This committee would be advisory to building department, zoning officers, and the planning board. As an example, a primary responsibility would be to ensure that the new construction exterior alterations of any kind to existing buildings are compatible with and complementary of the existing or desired target character of the area. Simply put, what is the look and feel of the new construction or alteration? The BDRD, the committee, would not in any way be a zoning ordinance enforcing entity. Zoning ordinance standards, strict standard enforcement, and design review all have unique and distinct roles. If there is an agreement that this committee for our BCD would have a benefit role in guiding the BCD development in conjunction with strict standard enforcement, the ordinance review would work with the building department, the zoning officer, the planning board to develop a draft ordinance for the borough attorney's input and review. If we can provide any clarification for this recommendation, please let us know. So it's just a straw poll. Is there something you want this ordinance review committee to go and look into and prepare ordinance for before we spin our wheels and bring it back to the council? That's all we're asking for. Questions, concerns?
Why we're stopping at the old municipal building? Why not include the entire town?
Well, it could be, but what we're looking at right now is what is the BCD zone, the Business Center District? That is that zone.
The ordinance that we passed going back months ago
About a year ago, last summer.
stipulates what buildings can look like, colors, things of that nature. From Glenmald Ave split down to the Riverdale Bridge. That's the zone, is our focal point for our town of what we want the town to look like. All right, so that's all, if I'm correct, that's all we want to concentrate on here, because we have new owners coming, businesses coming to town now, and they're painting buildings or doing whatever. But they don't know what our ordinance says, our fault, right? Because we never got the word out, which has been done.
It's out now.
All right? So I think we're trying to streamline it so there's no confusion. That's what this committee would kind of do, going to the zoning officer and the building department. But overall, once we get this all said, now we have kind of final say over the whole thing, going through the building department and all that. But we did set a standard. So either we adhere to that standard going forward, or there's no sense having it. I mean, put an ordinance in place if we're not going to follow it. But I can't blame the people buying stuff because they don't know it. So the only way for them to know it is us to tell them. I personally think we should have a packet, just like we do for new residents, for new business owners, when we know they're to come in and hand them a packet. This is what you have to follow. So there's no, and that's what this committee can kind of do when they meet with these people. Here's a packet of what you need to do, follow. If you have any questions, call us.
Yeah.
So
No, I love the concept and idea. I
But we-
just don't know why we would not include, say, Union Ave, if anyone's interested there.
This feels
Why wouldn't we include that? Also, up Mackin, didn't we include that as a part of the business district?
Nope.
No, that's not part of that.
That's not a part
No,
of that?
that's totally different. But nothing says we,
There isn't room for businesses to come in, except for that one building, right? But
Well, it's anywhere
Love the
above,
concept.
anywhere above Glen Wild Ave to the Butler on Hammer Turnpike is all businesses, so.
yeah,
You know, I mean, we have the Sunrise Place up there, they did a beautiful job outside, and they conformed to everything that we asked of, what we want downtown.
right.
So we want to just make sure that's happening. But this is a beginning to make sure that what we want, we get.
This is our
Yeah.
true downtown, that's why we call it the Bloomingdale Center District, BCD. That's our focal point, people coming in.
But we also need.
No, I get it.
And
But
I
I'd
mean,
love
they
to
can
see
grow
this
up,
center town
but-
becoming part of that, right? But, it's not there yet.
It's not there yet.
That's
But
why
we
I-
also need to, and I think, between Mike and myself, and maybe another person, that the people that are on that committee have to have that background. An architect.
That's what they've been kicking around, so that'd be part of this, putting the ordinance together. They have to brainstorm with the planning board and with the zoning officer and the committee itself. What are the criteria we're looking to meet? What are the members? What are we trying to have? What kind of members? Obviously, we want business owners down there also have their input. So those are the things we want to kick around, but before we don't spin everybody's wheel, and, because it's going to take some time to put it together.
Is this
something
not-
you're looking in-
And
interested?
is this not, like it feels like at face value a tiny bit redundant though, right? Like I feel like we already have an ordinance review committee, we already have a planning board, we already have a building department. What comes out of these, if I were to erect a 20-foot sign in the front of my residential zone, I'm gonna be told to take it down because I can't have a 20-foot sign in my residential zone.
But
And
you don't
if
want-
I claim if I claim that I don't know that I couldn't have a 20-foot sign, right? And no one had brought me the ordinance and said, here's what your house needs to look like within your zone. It just, I'm not sure that the value in this, like, it's not an excuse that they don't understand.
I think the value
What they
is,
should know.
we don't get to that point because they have the information. So they know what's expected of them from us. Because, you can have a business owner that's deciding to buy a place, and all of a sudden, he's putting signs on building, he's ordering stuff and doesn't know anything about it, and he moves to Bloomingdale, he's got all this stuff coming, spends a ton of money, and then we go say, you can't do it? That doesn't make sense to me.
Private investor and.
You want to build a good relationship with the business owners in town to support the town.
I agree, but I just think that there are avenues and means in order for them to do that. Like if they're doing it ahead of time, it's forgiveness, not permission, right? Like I'm trying to define that line and how much effort and energy we want to put in. And I think that in that light, I think I understand why we want to do it just within the BCD. I think this could be a huge undertaking if we begin having to handhold the whole town. Right? I just don't want to be hand-holding investors everywhere.
And we wouldn't, it's strictly just for the, and other towns surrounding us have this, have an architecture review board. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, I think about it this way, right? The BCD was the first major step. It provides some sort of framework around this is what we want our downtown to look like, right? Paint colors, all that kind of stuff. But what we've always been missing within our town, and ask anybody, going back decades, this has always been the argument, we don't want a mishmash of different things that don't align, that don't fit in. This is a way to have an advisory body that says this is what we want as a theme, and they have a way to influence these property owners to do that, because otherwise they don't know. They put in Adobe bricks that don't have any reason to be in our downtown and don't fit in with the theme we're looking for. So again, this helps to, not in a legal way, but in a very much, as I would say, in a relationship building way, influence a developer to say, look, this is what we want to see in our downtown. If you do this, this is a slam dunk for you, right? This is what our residents want to see. People will be more willing to do it. And to finally get our Main Street into that cohesive look that we've been really wanting since, what? The past 100 years?
Ever.
Right.
It goes back to when we met in the senior center, what your downtown to look like. That's going back when Craig was up here. It was a great idea, but that's where it stopped. Right? And then we do have mishmash next to the Walgreens, doesn't fit here. It's not what we want, but it's there.
And just in time for the master plan as well.
Yeah.
So it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting idea. It sounds like it's a vehicle to get the ordinances to the business owners, right? It's a conduit to them.
Mhm.
I would encourage you to include where Hamburg Turnpike splits and goes up to Glenwild, down to the left, because I think that's in need of attention.
I agree.
So I would include that. That would be my I thought.
I love the idea of
I think you'll-
I love the idea of the packet as well. That makes it so much easier for someone to walk in the door and just be handed a packet and say, here's all the rules and guidelines, and here's where you can find our BA and our mayor and this is where the building department is. It makes life so much easier.
A packet makes sense to me. I'm not sure that I understand the whole committee of individuals, right? That's what the ordinance review and the planning board.
Well,
and
just
the-
to bring stuff to us. We really should be going to them, and then they should be writing the ordinances that we want. Okay, we're kind of doing it backwards, but they do a fantastic job. Bill and his committee, right? Planning board does a good job. The building department's busy. The zoning guy's out. The CCO officer's out every day. This is just an avenue we can have other people in town that have say on what our town's going to look like and can build a relationship between business, just like the EDC does, you know? And I think it's worthwhile doing it. So it seems like the majority of us, I think we all kind of are on board with the concept. Do we want to think about it and come back in September and then let them run with it? Because it's going to take time to put this together. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay, we
better
can discuss it
understanding of
at the September meeting just a little bit further and then give them the okay to do or not the okay. But I think it's a good idea.
Yep.
All right? Mike, anything else?
That's it.
Three?
Nothing very important.
Nothing this evening, Mayor.
Okay. Okay. Item number 9, resolution number 2022 8.1 consent agenda. Can I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So,
Second.
Okay, any questions before we go to roll call?
Just one question for the animal shelter. Is that backfilling?
Yes. Somebody left, and we'll be backfilling that person.
Got it.
Same rate, same hours, everything's the same.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Catalano,
Yes.
Graziano,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Julin,
Yes, except for A, I was not here.
Schubert,
Yes.
Yazdi,
yes.
Item number 10, Hamlin Street sidewalk assessment. Have a motion to open up public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Anyone wishing to speak about Hamilton? I see no one. Motion to close public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I need a motion to accept the final assessment report submitted by our borough engineer, June 23rd, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
you can do it all in favor.
Can do an all in favor there? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
This part in the middle.
Okay. Okay, since we accepted the final report, introduction of ordinance number 2022 authorizing and confirming the special assessment Hamilton Street. Can I have a motion to read by title?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, authorizing and confirming the special assessments calculated pursuant to statute and set forth in the report of Darmafalski Engineering Associates in connection with the Hamilton Street sidewalk improvements to be paid in installments over the course of 10 years.
Okay.
And second and final will be scheduled for September 6th at 7 p.m.
Item B, second and final reading of public hearing ordinance number 14, 2022, amending Chapter 92 zoning. Public notice statement, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this ordinance was posted in the municipal building, published in the Herald News, and copies were made
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
fast.
Sorry.
Keeping up.
Light Industrial Inquiry Zone. Public notice statement, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this ordinance was posted in the municipal building, published in the Herald News, and copies were made available to the public so that a motion may be made that it be read by title.
Have a motion for the ordinance to be read by title?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 92 zoning, Article 7, Schedule of Regulations, Section 92-58, the M1Q Light Industrial and Quarry Zone of the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale.
Okay, can I have a motion to open up public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anybody wishing to speak?
I just wanted to know what the town is getting for permitting Tilcon to use the concrete batch plants and the asphalt plants and moving them onto Bloomingdale property, when we were told specifically that was never going to happen.
You were told specifically there was never going to be a concrete plant?
That's correct. When we first did the ordinance, I guess that was the one that was currently in the, currently shown, that was completely left out because that was never going to be in there. And Ray had specifically said that that's never going to happen because we were concerned about the noise and everything else, and it's for the town to have that moved to Bloomingdale. So it's all going to stay in Pompton Lakes. Now all of a sudden it's being changed. Why?
Well, first of all, it was never in Pompton Lakes.
Never said
Right,
that.
it's in the quarry.
It's in the quarry where the
On
entrance is in
Pompton Lakes
Pompton Lakes.
The plants.
It's always been in Bloomingdale.
We're never going to be in Bloomingdale. It was going to have to be all be moved over to Pompton Lake. That's why it wasn't in the original ordinance.
But there is no quarry in Pompton Lakes.
The Bloomingdale Quarry is attached to the Pompton Lakes Quarry.
Just the entrance, yes.
That's where all
No.
of that asphalt was supposed to go to.
There isn't a quarry in Pompton Lakes. The entrance to the Tilcon Quarry, which is all in Bloomingdale, is on the Pompton Lakes border. As soon as you go to 287, where the quarry starts, is all Bloomingdale.
Can you not answer my question, though? Why is this change being made? And what are we getting for it, if anything? Or are we just giving it to Tilcon?
We're giving them permission to operate.
So we're going to have
All it
more?
is adding accessory, they're already there, they're already operating, the construction plant, concrete plant is there operating.
That wasn't permitted before. How come all of a sudden it's being allowed? It wasn't
Been
in the
there,
original
and
ordinance.
I'll refer to our planner, it's been there for 2 years at least, the
It was never
concrete plant.
permitted in the original ordinance.
Go ahead, yeah, engineer, he was involved too, planning board engineer, he was,
Yeah, how you doing? Tom Barai, borough engineer, but I also serve as your planning board engineer. They came to the planning board for approval to erect a concrete plant, so they're there already.
When was that approval done?
The planning board heard that a year and a half ago, perhaps?
at least 2 years.
2 years? Yeah. They came for site plan approval, preliminary and final major site plan approval. The board heard it, and they determined it was an appropriate accessory use to the quarry operation, similar to what you would have with an asphalt plant, that it's accessory to the
So
quarry.
what is that effect going to have on the neighboring people that live in?
Well, I'm not here to question the merits of it. The planning board already did that.
But I'm asking a question.
Well, I know, but I can't answer it because I'm not your planning board. I'm only your technical.
Direct,
You don't-
Linda, direct that up here, and I'll see if I can answer
You
you.
can't answer, well, you're telling me to answer. I'm
No, he's just telling you when the approvals were. I know that.
I'm just giving you the facts, but if you want to talk about the merits of it, it's already vetted by your planning board and they already granted approval, so.
Well, I'm still asking the question as to why
Thank you.
this is being done. What is the effect going to have on residents? Did you even consider that?
I don't think it's going to have any effect on our residents, just like the asphalt plant don't.
It's not going to be additional noise, it's going to be running for how many hours?
It's been running for 2 years. Have you heard it?
I do hear it.
You heard a concrete plant?
I hear the sound when I was sitting at the pool, I can hear it.
The concrete is restricted toward 7 to 5 at night, whatever it is, even trucks coming in. The asphalt plant has always been 24-hour operation because when they need to have, the state needs asphalt in the middle of the night to pave roads, that's where they allow that to run. All this is adding them as serious permitted uses, the concrete plant and asphalt plant. They don't need to come back in front of the board for in the future to do this. It's really waste because it's gonna happen, and it all goes with the quarry.
But we were told it was never going to happen, so I'm just questioning why there was the change. Regardless of whether it went to the planning board or not, why we were told initially it wasn't going to happen and now it is.
When this came back.
I can't answer it because I don't remember saying it. I didn't say
When this came back
that.
through the planning board, which it did previously, just a couple weeks ago, what we basically discussed was because they had already been approved, right? And we know that the quarry is going to continue to exist for another 100 years.
as opposed to having more of our time reviewing each individual aspect of them having to do asphalt and do concrete production that they're doing now. And they have been doing for 2 years. We made it an accessory use so that they no longer need to come back in front of the planning board each time they need to erect one.
So what's the effect on the residents?
There's no change to the effect of what's occurring currently. There's already asphalt and concrete occurring, so there's no change to the residents. All this does is simplify our actions on the planning board.
Well, it does, there is an effect on the residents, and obviously the residents are not being considered again. But that's just what I'm getting used to in Bloomingdale with the,
I'm sorry that you feel that way.
well, I thought I feel that way, it's what it is.
Anybody else wishing to come up? Seeing no one, motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion for adoption?
Just a question, if I may. Sure. Just to understand this from a 30,000-foot overview, they have a quarry and they have asphalt and concrete material, or I'm sorry, manufacturing equipment. This is going to allow them to move that equipment closer to the mining site? Is that?
No, it's already established, the building is there, it's already up
It's there.
and running.
Correct.
It's concrete truck comes in, goes underneath the chute, fills up, leaves the quarry just like it does, just like the asphalt does.
But we're preventing them from going through a process again and again and again.
Correct.
Okay, what would be the next step in the process? If they were to come in front of the planning board in 5 years and say, hey, we need to move everything closer because we're digging further and deeper? Is that a conversation that potentially could happen?
I'd imagine it could 5 years from now, but
Right.
I don't see, because,
The
now, just correct me,
concrete plant,
correct me if I'm wrong.
Wouldn't be it would not be any deeper in the quarry.
Right.
The concrete plant is near the entrance for that reason. So the trucks come in, get their concrete and leave. They don't want concrete trucks coming up, driving through the quarry up to a concrete plant. This may move if and when they get a entrance over by the Burger King on Union Ave.
Okay,
They could close down the Ponton Lakeside one, they'd move that batch plant over to the Burger King side.
And we're basically removing roadblocks in the
they're
future
gonna
that
come
they,
to us.
that they can move their equipment to the Burger King site or a future
All
site.
we're saying that it's in the quarry and it's permitted, it's a permitted use. They don't need to come for us for a use variance. That's all they're saying.
My concern, Hamburg Turnpike, 287 South, you make that right, and we haven't had rain in 2 months, and there's dust and dirt everywhere. We can't predict the future. We don't know where that plant's gonna go. But to say, move it without a process to say, is that a good move, would be concerning to me.
Just, if I understand the quarry correctly.
Yeah.
All their stuff that they build for trucks to get in and out, they want as close to the entrance and exit as possible, so there's quick turnaround.
Yep.
They do not want to move them, and I visited the Tilcon plant months ago, just to do a tour over there, and to see where the Wanacue entrance, because they're not even close to breaking through to bring that through yet. But they want to be able to come in and go right to 287, do their thing and make it easier and get out of the residential area in Pompton Lakes. And they want quick access to the highway, and that's why they're coming between the Burger King and.
Oh,
past-
yeah,
past the Osco.
I
But
get it.
I can't predict if they're going to come back and say, I'm going to take the concrete plant from A or the asphalt plant and put it over there. I can't predict that. We can't.
No
They- you know,
one can.
But as of today, it is where it is. It's built. Tom, go ahead.
If I could just try to help, the people with the concerns, and you're not giving them a free pass to just say, we're gonna move this concrete plant wherever we want. You're just creating it as a permitted accessory use so that they don't have to come into the planning board for use variances.
Okay.
That's what they came in for, a use variance. It wasn't listed as a permitted use. Now it's gonna be an accessory permitted use. If they pick up that plant and move it, they still have to come for site plan approval. They not only have to come to the planning board, but every 5 years they come before you to renew their license. So if there's any concerns, you're gonna air them there as well when they come before you for their 5-year renewal. So they do need planning board approval still. The location will be scrutinized with respect to traffic, noise, dust, all those items. And it's not a free pass for Tilcon. It just makes it so it's not a use variance. A use variance is a cumbersome process. You have to hire planners, and they have to put on proofs why a concrete plant belongs at a quarry. When really, I think everybody finds it reasonable that a quarry would produce asphalt and concrete. because that's where the materials are being made, the gravel and such. So you're not giving them a free pass. And they will be scrutinized if they picked up that plant and moved it. So you will still have review of it.
All right, that's helpful, Tom, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I may, in a similar way, if I'm wrong, please stop me here. In a similar sense, the planning board similarly went through a change that we made for requiring site plans in multi-use buildings recently, right? So when you were looking for, the example was the new dog grooming place that went in the strip mall by Danny's and the bagel store, because it was not a pre-existing accessory use, they were going to be required to do a site plan for an entire lot that they no longer had, that wasn't theirs. They're a renter, a tenant in a small building. So in the same way, we gave them a pass and then changed the ordinance in order to allow them to not have to provide site plans for those accessory uses. We're just trying to ease the amount of hearings, the amount of times on things that we know are going to be moved through with more ease. So they still had to come before us and prove that they weren't going to have too many dogs, they weren't going to have loud noise, they weren't going to be doing any staying as part of the use there, but they weren't required to do a site plan because they don't own the property. So kind of the flip side on this one, the opposite. So.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, can I have a motion for adoption?
So moved.
What?
I'm sorry.
Did you close public hearing?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, missed that.
Second.
Roll call.
Hudson,
Yes.
Julian,
Abstain.
Schubert,
Yes.
Yazdi,
Yes.
Catalano,
Yes.
Graziano,
Yes.
Okay. Item D, second and final reading of public hearing, ordinance number 18, 2022, amending Chapter 11-9 vacant and abandoned properties. Public notice statement, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this ordinance was posted in the municipal building, published in the Herald News, and copies were made available to the public so that a motion may be made that it be read by title.
Can I have a motion to read by title?
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 11, Building and Housing, Section 11-9, vacant and abandoned properties of the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale.
Okay, can I have a motion to open up public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anyone wishing to speak, please come up. Seeing no one, a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any questions? Motion for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Julian,
Yes.
Schubert,
Yes.
Yazdi,
Yes.
Catalano,
Yes.
Graziano,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Item E, second final reading and public hearing, ordinance number 19-2022, various capital improvements. Public notice statement, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this ordinance was posted in the municipal building, published in the Herald News, and copies were made available to the public so that a motion may be made that it be read by title.
Can I have a motion to read by title?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
An ordinance appropriating $261,000 available from the General Capital Reserve Fund and $60,000 from the County of Passaic CDBG grant to provide for various improvements described herein and by the Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey.
Okay. Have a motion about public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak?
Linda Huntley, 86 Van Dam. What is the equipment that you're getting, the police and fire department equipment?
Fire department is turnout gear, and police department is the reader?
Yeah, it's
It's
the storage unit and stuff with the, get the words to use. Hold on one second.
Is it for the
Evidence.
evidence tracking? Yes.
DPW?
DPW, we're getting lifts, portable lifts, so we can pick up the bigger vehicles.
Upgrade to our gas boy, our gas and diesel tanks.
Yep.
Yes, we're just upgraded maybe 1 or 2 years ago?
Nope.
What about the borough facilities?
Cameras around town. We put on the borough facilities, but it'd be cameras around town, because we have about 5 different vendors we use for our cameras, and some of our stuff's not under camera right now, so we need to get it.
What's the life of all this property that we're getting?
Well, I can tell you-
Useful life? More than 15 years.
Thank you.
The fire gear's 10 years. By NFPA.
Yeah.
By NFPA. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Seeing no one, a motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any questions? Motion for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Schubert,
Yes.
Yazdi,
Yes.
Catalano,
Yes.
Graziano,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Julian,
Yes.
Okay. New business. Adoption of Resolution 2022 8.16, payment of the bills. Have a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
Yazdi,
Yes.
Catalano,
Yes.
Graziano,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Julian,
Yes.
Schubert,
Yes.
Okay. Item B, adoption of resolution number 2022 8.17, authorizing site work restoration of Woodlot Road Retention Basin for DMK Services LLC. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions?
Just a little background.
Good, Mike.
Woodlot Road, where is that?
Yeah, it's up by Natalie.
Natalie Court.
There's a retention basin up there.
Okay.
That at one point, I guess when the developer originally built it, he was responsible for it, and at some point became borough land. We, the current DPW staff, was not aware of that. There was a fence around that was dilapidated and crushed by some trees. We had a new fence put in. With that, they started to try and clean out the basin as best they could. The equipment we had was not able to get in there and do the sufficient job. We had the borough engineer come up and meet us. It's his recommendation, because this is all has to do with stormwater and it's regulated by the state, that we had to hire a company. We went out to bid. DMK was the low bidder. They were going to come in, clear everything totally out like it was when it originally made, trees that were overgrown there, weeds, take out all the silt, get the drains back working again, and at that point in time, hopefully put rock down, I believe, as riprap, and then we'll maintain it from that point going forward. At some point, I was not able to figure out when we have to take over ownership of that.
That was my next question.
I
Okay.
could not find anything in our records, so.
But we
It is on
know
the tax
it's
map.
ours.
It's definitely on the tax map as it's exempt for Bloomingdale.
Interesting. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Sure.
Roll call.
Catalano,
Yes.
Graziano,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Julian,
Yes.
Schubert,
Yes.
Yazdi,
Yes.
Okay. Item C, adoption of resolution number 2022 8.18, authorizing purchase of a DPW mechanical lifts by state contract. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments?
Yeah, can you explain what this is all about and why we need it?
So this has to do with the last orders we did, where we were questioned on what departments were getting what, and we stated that we'd go through that, adopt that capital improvements, and then each item would come up in front of the council for a decision. That's what this is, first one coming up. So these are mechanical lifts. So I'll just read a statement from our DPW supers. They're saying mechanical lifts, the reason for the lifts are due to the mechanics working on borough garbage trucks and fire trucks in multiple towns. The current lifts are not capable of lifting these vehicles. These lifts are a necessity in our daily operations and fleet mechanics, and is a vital instrument to complete these tasks. I went down there today. What these lists allow us to do is lift up the larger vehicles in the bays. We can't use them outside yet because it's on asphalt, so it's only used on concrete pads. This allows them to now lift those vehicles up 3 to 4 feet in the air because we're restricted in height in the building, and they're able to work underneath it more safe than what they have been doing. And being that we're taking over, and we have taken over the fire equipment in the last year and a half, they've been asking for these for about 5 years now. It's definitely a necessity. These lifts also allow them, once they lift it up, it comes with jacks that they're able to jack the equipment up and then take the lifts and move it the next day over and lift up another vehicle. So they'll work on multiple large vehicles at the same time. Where now it's one goes up, they work on it, one goes down. There's only one lift that can actually do anything with the big vehicles. So thus the reason and the necessity for these mechanical lifts or mobile lifts.
How many, 2?
It's a set of 4.
Oh, 4.
So they go into each and they pick up the entire vehicle.
So they can currently work on these
And-
vehicles without them?
They currently roll underneath, when they're talking about it, when they're changing out mufflers and stuff, it's about 11-inch clearance, he said. So it's really not a safe operation. In the past, they weren't doing as many big vehicles as we currently are today. So it's more of a necessity is what he's saying. This is your head mechanic down there, Dave.
Right, but when like a garbage truck needed repair, they were able to repair it?
Depending upon what the problem was.
What the problem was.
I can speak for fire department, because our trucks used to go to Pierce. The Pierce trucks, we used to send them out, or Pierce would come here. And the cost was
Through the roof.
through the roof. So now we have mechanics, we have, how many mechanics now, 3?
3.
3 mechanics that are capable of working on these vehicles. So overall, long run, it's going to save us money. I can tell you, I was down there when they had our ladder truck down there, and those guys were crawling around, on their, what do you call it, the rollers or whatever
The
the thing
rollers
is.
that they get.
Creepers.
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 And then it's difficult to do what you got to do, and you can't see. I know they were working on one of the outriggers on there, and they had to get up in there, and one guy's basically on his belly trying to work his way up there. It's unsafe. So it's a necessity, and we're doing Pompton's garbage trucks, we're doing our garbage trucks, we're doing our fire trucks. So they're big vehicles, and they got to work safe.
And ideally, they'd like to have down the road, a pad out front, concrete, so they can actually lift these vehicles up 5-6 feet in the air and work under it like a typical mechanic would. And these lifts would allow us to do that as well.
So I had some questions on this too, and I came for clarity. I think one of the things I thought that really would provide value as well too is a lot of the equipment that you're gonna be replacing and moving out from underneath these vehicles is extremely heavy. So when you're working in a limited amount of space, being able to move those objects, a muffler for a small vehicle is a lot lighter than a muffler for a heavy vehicle, right? Transmissions, ball joints, everything that you're gonna be working on, much, much heavier. I think that these lifts, the way I understood it too, allow you to now get equipment lifts underneath the vehicle to move the objects up in and out of place so that it's not trying to be manhandled in and out by human arms.
I urge you to go down there and see the operation when they're actually working on these bigger vehicles. And it's pretty much daily, I think.
It is.
Depending because of the rotation they have. I can tell you every fire truck was just serviced in the past 2 weeks down there. But go down and see them and talk to our mechanics, and they'll show you what they're up against, and then you'll understand it a lot better, I think. All right? Roll call, please. Not roll call,
Yeah, roll call.
Yes,
Roll
yep,
call.
Roll call.
roll call. Graziano.
No.
Hudson.
Yes.
Julian.
Yes.
Schubert.
Yes.
Yazdi.
Yes.
Catalano.
Yes.
Okay. Introduction of bond ordinance number 21-2022, special assessment for Hilltop Terrace sidewalks. Motion to read by title.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Bond ordinance providing for sidewalks along the entire length of Hilltop Terrace in and by the Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, appropriating $275,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $261,000 bonds or notes of the borough to finance part of the cost thereof and the special assessment of the cost thereof.
Okay. Item E, introduction of ordinance number 22-2022, amending Chapter 2, Class 3 Officer. Have a motion to read by title.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, before we continue on the last ordinance, the second and final will be scheduled for September 6th at 7 PM. And then I'll read the title for 22-2022.
Okay.
An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 2 Administration, Article 5 Departments Established to add Section 2-43 Special Law Enforcement Officer, Class 3, to the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale. This will also be scheduled for public hearing and adoption on September 6th.
Item F.
Sorry, question on that one?
Sure.
If it's introduced, voted on September 6th, what does that signal? Does that mean we begin the interview process, there's somebody lined up? What's the timeline after that meeting?
We're looking to have a person in place by October
Yeah.
1st.
It's going to move quickly then.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
We're
you.
hoping to.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's great news.
Okay. Item F, introduction of ordinance number 23-2022, amended salary ordinance for the Class 3 officer.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, amending Ordinance 1-2022, an ordinance establishing a minimum and maximum range of salary and compensation for categories and titles of officers, non-contractual employees, and contractual employees of the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale to include the SLE Class 3 position. Second and final for this ordinance will be September 6th.
Busy day.
Okay. Can I have a motion to open up late public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak? Come on up.
Brian's going in that report.
How are you, Brian?
Your lifts you're getting, you have tandems, right? Your garbage trucks are tandems. So you need 6.
They're telling me only 4.
You need 6. So, I'm not trying to spend my
Yeah.
money here, but, and how thick is that garage for? Because I have the lifts you're talking about in my shop. And I know how thick my floor is. Like, did anyone check your floor before you take a purchase item like this?
We had the salesman come. I don't know what their slab is, but I know the lift we have in there. We have 2 permanent lifts in there that are bolted to the floor. One
Well,
is,
they might have made provisions for that when you put that floor in, but.
I could
maybe
double.
just checks on something like that?
Yep, I'll definitely double check on that.
All right. What are you
Yep.
spending on that retention basin up in Woodlawn?
Do you recall, Tom, what that?
40?
39?
39,000?
39.
And once it's said and done, what do you do with that fence they just did all that pretty work to?
Fence is staying there.
How are they gonna get in there with a fence in?
They have the door opening.
There's a double wide.
The double wide.
They're gonna go in and out of that gate?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, if not, they can remove one of the posts, peel back the fence, and then put it back again.
I would think if he damages, he would be responsible.
Yeah, yeah, but the fence can be preserved if he needs to move it for any reason.
Yeah, I realize.
Yeah.
But, and then when it's all said and done, who's gonna keep care of this place? Like,
DPW.
and I'm gonna give you an example, and you're probably gonna get all PO'd here, but that downtown park is awful. You come down that, the weeds along that riverbank are terrible. When that was first done, that was a lot of money. All right, looked pretty, everything's open. Now it's gotten out of hand. Same thing happened to that little retention basin up there. I've been living up there for years. I remember talking to John about it,
John Dudley.
thank you.
Don't say John D, because we're both John D.
He's been my insurance guy. I told him, hey, catch it before it gets out of hand. Oh, yeah, the whole, here you go, buddy. But now it's out of hand and it's huge, and now you gotta have this big expense. But I look at that downtown park, same thing, all them water weeds are growing, all the saplings are starting to come up.
We usually go in the fall and knock that down.
Mike,
Yeah.
hasn't been done in years. Believe me. I go up and
Believe
down
me, it
that
was
road
done,
every
because
day.
when I took over the position, I had Rocco and the crew go down and do it.
Okay,
So it was less than a year ago.
okay.
So we will maintain the retention pond as we do the Anna Rose Court one.
And on your comment on the pad, that was one of my big concerns too. I have a lift in my garage at home, and I had to put footers in for it when I went in, and they assured me that the pad was gonna be thick enough, so I'm glad someone else has mentioned
Right,
it as
but-
well.
But
I'm
getting
glad
back
someone else.
to the 4 to 6 lifts, because that's very important. Every tire needs to have one. What are you putting, Konos in?
I believe so, yep.
Right. So you need a lift under every tire. No, just check into that. I'm
Yeah,
surprised
talk to the
I'm surprised you
salesman.
didn't say that to
Yeah.
me. Especially a fire truck. Are your ladder truck a tandem or a single?
Single.
There's,
Just, they're not double.
The double tires.
no.
Oh, axle?
It's only two axles.
No,
Front
single,
and back.
single, single.
But the garbage trucks are tandems. But
All the
maybe
trucks,
check.
all the fire trucks are singles.
You know, they?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
Thanks, man.
thank you.
Anyone else wishing to come up? Motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we do not have an executive session tonight. Our next workshop meeting will be September 6th, 7 PM, and then Slow Park Festival, September 9th. And our regular September, we go back to 2 meetings in September. September 20th will be our second meeting. Okay, well, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Enjoy the evening, enjoy the rest of the summer. It's going too quick.
Wait.